Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today we're going to take a look at a neat border tangle called Snugz. And this is by CZT Terri Brown. Now this border tangle also is quite Celtic knot-ish looking. And I have to say, this is the first one that I've done like this that I kind of got on like close to the first try. So that is rather neat. All right, I'm going to, this starts off with a row. Where is my, there it is, I think. A row of orbs, or, you know, sometimes we call them, all right, I'm missing my, I was going to, oh, here we go. I was going to use a little bit larger pen nib, and I was like, it was right here, right when I started. Okay, anyway. I think I'm going to do a nice little diagonal here. So, starting off with a row of, a lot of times we would call them pearls, but it's essentially, you know, an orb. I'm going to try to do this like larger. Filled in for the most part. You can leave a little white spot there. And these ones, you can play with how close or not you want to have them. I'm finding a little bit closer than what I think is better, and mine are turning out to be a little bit ovally, but okay. And all right, we'll see how that we'll see how well this goes. Okay. And look at how small that first one started off. This is what I do. I like to be consistent, but since it's a filled-in orb, then we can go back and course correct, which is nice. And try to make them more orb-ish instead of, okay, that one I'm going to have to just fix with the fine line pen. Yeah, orb-ish. That's why we call them orbs, because a circle just is too much pressure. All right. Gosh, they're enormous. Okay, anyway. All right. Well, then you can certainly see them, can't you? All right. Now, one thing that I believe I took the hint from Terry's step out to kind of draw the direction with a little arrow. So, looking at it this way, we're going to draw, we're going to aura this orb. And to aura is to outline, but we're going to aura it sort of. So we're going to start off with an aura, so like this. But then we're going to land like this on the outside of the orb just underneath it, we'll say. And if you think of it, if you've done the Tangle, let's see, Cadent, you know, or some other ones where we use this takeoff and land concept. This one we don't really have a takeoff point, because usually it's like we're tracing around and then we take off and then we land somewhere else. This one, it's kind of like, I mean, it's a short takeoff, I guess, you know, so we're just taking off from this point, coming down and then landing on the next orb. So this one then, and once you have that first one, the second one, we're coming from this curved line that we just made. So also keeping in mind your aura size that you've decided, you know, whatever distance you want to keep from that orb. And then we're always coming just to the top of that. And once you get, you know, kind of get that in, get in the groove of that, then it's okay. Like so. Oh, and then the last one. The last one, we're going to go around the bottom, kind of like we started up here at the top. Okay? Now, I'm not, let's see. Because this is the way that we did the step out, I'm not going to flip my tile, but I'm also thinking, wait, let me just do so I can see. Okay, so let me say this. In the step out, the way I have it going, because I copied what Terry had and took her hints, has it come, you know, with I drew a little up arrow, so coming from the bottom and going up. And essentially doing the same stroke that we did, it's just kind of upside down. But let me throw this in here, because it's the video, is we can essentially do the same thing all over again. Now I want to redo my step out, but that takes too much time. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Now, Okay, we'll do this. I might put a note on there. But you know because you're watching the video. All right, so same idea. Coming around the top here. And then landing on the outside of that orb below it. And then here, same thing. But we're starting, midway up. So we're starting on that curved line like we did the first time, right? Oh, let me just flip it over again just to see. So, we here we were picking the place, okay, here's the distance I want to try to maintain from the orb and, going that far up and then continuing. On this side though, and actually, honestly, it doesn't really matter because I wasn't paying that much attention to where I'm placing this. Because I think if you try to be consistent, at least with the distance, then you're going to come out all right. And then we're always going to that, to the top of that orb. And then this last one, just like we did before, is we're going to connect those two like so. And that is just neat. So again, on the step outs, both mine and on Terri's, and you'll find those in the description section. It has an arrow kind of directing, which direction to go. Because if you do it the other way, at least, even on the first step, it just makes it too hard. So following those arrows, that's good. But knowing that second arrow, you can turn your tile the 180 degrees and do the same stroke over again. I like that about Zentangle because that just makes it even easier. All right, next step is... if you are familiar with the Tangle Crescent Moon, she called them wings on here. So we're going to add wings, but the wings are essentially, so we're going to draw a little curve line. And these two steps are put together on the step out, just to save room. So we're going to put a little curve line in those crevices. I'm just working on one side here at a time. And filling in that first one. And then we're going to aura this. You know what? I'm going to try to aura. I want to aura it twice because in Linda Farmer's, that's on Tangle Patterns, on her little thumbnail, she did it twice, and then the last step is we aura the whole thing, and I thought that looked really neat. So we're going to try it on here. I did not do that in the step out, but know that that's one of those things that you can just do, because we can put in our own, our own flair, our own take on this. And in the Tangle Patterns link that I will have in the description section, there's some other ideas too that Terri has, and you'll see that in her step out, or in the samples that she has provided. Okay, so let's do a second aura, just because you could do other shapes and stuff like that. But you take a look, and that's why I call it for more inspiration, because that's exactly what it is. And I'm going to flip the tile because I do sometimes like working in the same direction, because then you just don't have to think about it. And that's kind of the point. All right. And then we're going to aura the entire thing. So I'm going to start right up here at the top. And now all of a sudden, did I explain what aura meant to those of you that don't know? If I did not, let me do it again. Or if I did, let me do it again, because I can't remember and I want to make sure to do that. It's just outlining, essentially, as you can see. And trying to keep the same distance. Sometimes, you know what I should have done is pick up my hand, pick up the pen a little bit. And when there's those natural stopping points, like here, because it's kind of a corner, it's like, for some reason, when I was learning to tangle, and I don't know where I got this, and it could just be something in my head, that's entirely likely. I got the impression that you were supposed to do the aura, it was like without picking up your pen and in one stroke. It was probably some other tangle that was like that, and I just, put all of that together in my head. But yeah, when you come to like a corner, of course you can pick up your pen, start it. I mean, you don't want to do it too many times. Like this one I'm kind of daring on. Is like, it'd be nice to do that in one swoop so that way you don't have those little starting and stopping points. But there we go. Whoops, off a little bit. There we go. Now, Lots of ways, I'm sure, that we can find to shade this. You know, I like what I did in the step out. So I'm going to do that. And that is, I'm just going to put a little graphite on either side where this goes under. So just putting a little bit, and then we're going to spread it out. I was trying to tell in Linda's little thumbnail of this, it almost looked like she might have put some graphite, you know, on the background, so that way this part stood out. And I know in her thumbnail also, it was real thin, you know, this part. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And it'd be nice if I could be that, I don't know what you would call it, that good to be able to make it that thin. Just, it's one of those, you have to practice it and just, you know, try again. And then, you know, you know, practicing it so that way it's like, okay, here's where I know what I do. You know, here's where I usually go awry, so I need to go a little bit slower, or I need to do this or that. As we practice it, we figure those things out, right? Now, because this is wet, I'm grabbing a little bit of the tile. And I'm thinking, too, you can kind of, you know, it doesn't have to just stop there. It can kind of stretch out a little bit. Let's see. Oh, see, that looks neat. That looks neat. Just try a little, just maybe a little bit further on. We'll just try this one side. Oh, yep, I'm going to leave that way. Oh, here's a thinner. My torchon on top of it was just a little bit pushed in. I like this one that's a little bit finer. There we go. Neat looking. Very neat. And actually, you know, this, because it is kind of dark, and probably with the graphite here, it does push that down, or brings, you know, this center up a little bit. So anyway, that is one way to have fun with it. Make sure to take a look at the Tangle Patterns link that I've included in the description section, just to get some other ideas on how else you can use it. But it's a really, really neat border tangle. And again, I have found this one to be the easiest to make that Celtic knot type of look, because a lot of the other ones, generally, you know, Celtic knot, you have to plan and you use grid paper, and those are generally no-nos in Zentangle. It's like, it should just be, you don't have to think about it a whole lot, you don't have to worry about this or that, you can get absorbed in each step. These fit, you know, that fits, you know, a lot of those things that make a pattern a tangle. And I did, yeah, so I'm kind of enamored with this. It's really neat. And, you know, and I ended up putting these dots kind of in the center. You don't have to do that. You could fill it all the way in and use a white jelly roll, especially if you're good at, you know, making the gems or dewdrops, you know, where it looks really shiny. It's still, I think it looks neat the way it is. But just so that way, you know, you can make those solid and then, you know, add the jelly roll pen. That way the shine is, you know, is a little bit different. But that's up to you. So if you enjoyed this video, would love to have a thumbs up, you know, like, share, subscribe, all of that. If you do, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I would appreciate that very much. But if you do, make sure to hit the notification bell, so that way you can designate how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. And more information is in the description section. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.